Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me here at home with Melissa. I'm really excited today to show you a bunch of stuff in my yard. The first one's this. You might recognize it. And this is so exciting. This just grows wild. And I didn't know I had this, so I was all excited to see it. Check it out up close. I'm trying to get a really good focused picture for you, but it's not cooperating. Okay, if you can see there, the flowers, they have 4 smooth petals, and the leaves are kind of scalloped, kind of pointy on the ends of the scallops, and they are really neat. They grow to be, I don't know, just over knee high is how high these ones are right now. And what do you think these are? These are wild mustard. Wild mustard. These are wild garlic mustard. And garlic mustard is just really kind of neat. The leaves, if you want to eat them though, they get bitter if you harvest them once it gets really hot. So if you're going to eat the leaves, you might want to do it earlier. But they've got a garlicky flavor, and if you go to pick them, they even have a garlicky smell. You can sniff them, and they smell like garlic, and that's how you know that you got what you were after. And in some places, unfortunately, they're considered to be invasive. So that's just something to know. Invasive plants are plants that are not native to an area, that come in and basically crowd out native species. So in a lot of places, garlic mustard's considered invasive. But you'll know it from the little white flowers, the scalloped edged leaves, and most importantly, rip off a leaf, crush it, and smell it. You'll smell a faint garlic smell. Now, the good things about these, in addition to the little garlicky flavor, is that they include vitamins A, C, and E, potassium, calcium. You can find iron in them and magnesium, and the all-important omega-3 fatty acids. And, you know, I've heard that there are that they're pretty good if you add them into, say, mashed potatoes, or cook them up with some bacon, and yummy. So that is our first plant. A lot of people call it a weed, and it is in places where it's invasive, obviously. But, you know, around here, this would be considered by most people to be a weed, and they'd want to rip it out. But it's a free spice, basically. Why would you do that? And it's really rich in nutrients. Here's one you probably recognize. If not, you will when I show you this. Look. Yep, those are the burrs from which this plant probably gets its name. This is burdock. It can grow to be up to, I don't know, about 6 feet tall. But this, while it is found in the wild, I cultivated this intentionally. People probably think I'm nuts. But burdock, which a lot of people call weeds, is actually really good for you. Even WebMD says that if you make a tea out of it, you boil it up and make a tea out of it, let that cool and apply it to your skin, it can be used to treat things like eczema, psoriasis, acne. WebMD even says it's good. Now, the roots are used extensively in Asian cooking. Both Chinese and Japanese cuisine use burdock root quite a bit. And it's best, like the first year, if you harvest those roots in the fall, or second year, you can harvest them in the springtime. And really, I don't see why you can't harvest them other times, but I've read different places that it's recommended to harvest first year crop in the fall and a second year crop in the spring. I am going to harvest a whole bunch of this here as soon as I get a chance, and it's springtime, but it is not year 2. This is, I think, year 3 for these guys. So hopefully it's still yummy and not too tough, but I'll let you know. Now, this third plant you guys probably hate. This is dandelion, the bane of existence for a lot of people because it just takes over their lawns. But did you know that dandelion leaves are richer in vitamin A than spinach? I kid you not, they really are. And they're not native to the United States. They were brought here by early settlers as a food source. I mean, come on. If the big seller for spinach is that the leaves contain a lot of vitamin A, and dandelions have more than spinach, is it really a weed or is it a useful vegetable? Oops, excuse the shaking. I'm trying to adjust my camera so I can pick a leaf for you. Dandelion leaf. Here we go. Here's one. These are what the leaves look like. Kind of like a spade at the end. And you want to get them early enough that they haven't put out the buds, because at that point the leaves go bitter. And maybe some people like them like that, but I don't. I like them better before the buds form. And I use the leaves in salads quite a bit. You can also do like a wilted lettuce type of thing with them. Really, really nice, tasty, good for you. Really good for you. And I have one more plant to show you that people call a weed, but maybe shouldn't. And this one, I'm betting you've seen, because it grows pretty much everywhere on Earth. I mean, not exactly everywhere, but see my notes? I took notes to make sure I didn't forget to tell you guys some things. But they grow just about everywhere. And these, and by everywhere, I mean everywhere on the planet, not just everywhere here. And it's not exactly everywhere, but pretty close to it. These things that I can't seem to get in focus, don't know why I did a minute ago. There we go. See the 4 petals with no veins in the petals? Each flower has 4 petals. They're yellow. They grow in clusters on a really tall stem. And there are tons of varieties of these. Tons and tons. Because it is so pervasive. It grows every place. You see it growing in ditches, taking over fields before the farmers till the fields to plant other stuff in there. This is wild mustard. And people call it a weed, but it's not. If you take the seeds from wild mustard and you add... Oh, look. Are you seeing the wasp? Ooh, love wasps. Not... I mean, they're good for things, but I'm a little scared of them. But anyway, if you take the seeds from wild mustard, just like they do with the seeds from cultivated mustard, you can add vinegar and salt to it, you know, grind them up, add vinegar and salt, and there you've got the condiment mustard. Every single part of this plant, from the petals of the flowers down to the roots of the plant, all edible. And it's a really healthy plant for you. Here's the part that I needed to write down so I didn't miss anything. It contains vitamins A, C, D, and K, in addition to iron, calcium, potassium, and a bunch of other things that are really, really good for you. Now, the leaves of this plant are usually best if you cook them, because they can be a little weird, a little tough, or a little hairy, and then that can kind of mess with your throat when you eat them, unless you cook them, because that takes care of that. And they're really, really nice, really good. So, here's something else. Oh, one last thing about this plant that I think is important. If you are someone who collects herbs and plants in the wild for eating or for medicinal use, you know that when you're collecting things in the wild, it's really important to be absolutely sure of your identification. You know, to take a guidebook with you or something, because a lot of things that are edible or helpful to us have lookalikes, things that look really similar to them, but that are poisonous. And the good thing about mustard, nope, no harmful lookalikes. So if you find something that's got the yellow 4-petaled flowers at the top of a tall stem, gathered in clusters, the flowers are, the scalloped leaves, you've got wild mustard, and it's really good for you. And you can add it to salads, you can add it to vinegar to flavor it, you can add it to all kinds of stuff. It's a nice spiciness, and you know, I mean, this is the same as what they get mustard seed from that you buy in the store, or ground mustard that you use to add to recipes. You can add it to roast, and it tastes really nice, a nice little kind of peppery flavor. I really like mustard added to, say, a roast. If I just cook the roast in the oven with a little bit of water in the bottom of the pan and put mustard on it, I like that flavor. But anyway, that is our focus on plants for today. Plants that people think are weeds, but in my opinion, probably shouldn't. And I found all these things growing in my yard. Of course, if you're seeing glimpses of my yard in the background, you realize that I've let things kind of go in my yard. But I think it's a blessing in disguise that I did, because look at all these treasures I found. Look at all the pollinating insects that this wild mustard's attracting. I mean, and it's good food and it's good for you. So anyway, hopefully I'll be able to do a lot of these segments for you where we focus on things that people call weeds but maybe shouldn't. And, you know, if you want to see more of them, tune in for future episodes of You Call These Weeds at the At Home with Melissa channel. And if you like this, you know, feel free to click like down at the bottom, or if you want to see more of it, you know, just go to that little button underneath the video on your computer and click subscribe. I'd be happy to have you here. Join our little group. Anyway, I hope you have a really nice day, and I'm glad that you tuned in. Thanks. Bye-bye.